You are here in this moment, breathing, thinking, sensing, and yet the reality you're touching is not the full picture. Around you, unseen, is the quantum field, an ocean of possibilities, each waiting for a single command from your awareness to crystallize into form. You've been told that creating your life is a struggle, that you need endless vision boards, perfectly worded affirmations, and hours of meditation to get it right. The message you've absorbed is that reality only changes if you push hard enough, fight long enough, or fix yourself into something worthy. But in truth, quantum reality doesn't speak the language of force. It speaks the language of resonance. The illusion is that it's complicated. The reality is that it's astonishingly simple, so simple that your logical mind might resist it. Imagine walking into a room where every object is made of light, shimmering and unformed. All it takes to shape them is the tone of your voice, the clarity of your presence. That's the field you live in every day without knowing you're holding the controls. The problem is that most people are sending scrambled signals. They're speaking in one vibration, living in another. Outwardly, they declare abundance, while inwardly, their body is clenched in fear. They visualize love while holding on to the hurt of the last relationship. They ask for expansion while gripping tightly to a past identity. And the field, which mirrors everything without judgment, simply sends back the frequency it's given. The first shift. The simple shift is realizing you're already in constant conversation with the quantum field. Every emotion, every expectation, every micro-choice is a frequency broadcast. This is not about building power. It's about noticing the power you've been unconsciously using. Consider this: you don't manifest from your future desires. You manifest from your present alignment. The field doesn't respond to your calendar date. It responds to your now. The moment you align your inner state with the version of you who already has what you seek, reality bends. Not in weeks, not in years, in the instant the resonance locks in. Think of a tuning fork. Strike it, and every matching frequency in the room begins to hum. That's how the quantum field works. The reality you occupy right now is the one your inner frequency has matched most consistently. Change that frequency. The outer world has no choice but to reconfigure. Here's the beauty: you don't need to know how the rearrangement happens. You don't need to micromanage the quantum field. Just like you don't need to understand the full mechanics of electricity to flip a light switch, you don't need to understand every quantum equation to illuminate a new reality. Your job is to tune your state, to hold that vibration steady and let the field respond. You've done this before, without realizing it. Think of the times something you longed for seemed to just happen: the right person calling at the exact moment, the opportunity appearing as if out of thin air. That wasn't coincidence. It was coherence. For a brief moment, your inner state aligned so perfectly with the outcome that the field delivered it effortlessly. Now imagine doing that intentionally, not as a rare accident, but as a daily way of living. That is the simple shift that changes everything, moving from unconscious broadcasting to conscious resonance. This means no longer living on autopilot, where your state is dictated by circumstance. Instead, you anchor in the inner frequency of what you choose, and you hold it regardless of what the outer world shows you. The illusion of difficulty falls away, because you're no longer trying to wrestle with matter to change matter. You're speaking directly to the field, in the only language it understands: energy. From here, the doorway opens into everything else we'll explore together: how frequency codes reality, how the subconscious runs the show, how perception is the ultimate alchemy. But for now, let this settle. You are already shaping your reality effortlessly every second. The only question is, are you shaping it with intention, or letting the static of old patterns choose for you? In this moment, feel the shift. not as a goal, but as a truth that is already alive inside you. You are not separate from the field. You are the field in a localized form. When you remember that everything begins to change, frequency is the language of creation, and you are speaking it every moment of your life, not through words, but through the energetic tone of your being. Every thought, every emotional pattern, every subtle shift in your breath is part of a symphony that the quantum field reads instantly. It doesn't listen to your wish list. It listens to your signal. Picture a vast radio dial. Each station represents a version of reality already existing in the infinite expanse of possibilities. When you tune in to one, the others don't vanish, they simply move out of your awareness. You're always receiving the station that matches your current frequency. If you want a different program, you don't shout at the radio or dismantle the wiring. You simply adjust the dial. This is the core of quantum manifestation. You match the frequency of what you choose, and the quantum field delivers it. The mistake people make is assuming frequency is just a mood or a single thought. It's deeper than that. Frequency is the combined resonance of your mind, body, and energy field. If your words say one thing, but your nervous system is still locked in fight or flight, the field doesn't hear your words, it hears the tension. If your vision board is covered in images of abundance, but your internal self-talk is scarcity on repeat, the field hears scarcity. This is why the shift is simpler than you think. It's not about holding a perfect thought all day. It's about holding coherence. Coherence happens when your thoughts, emotions, and body state are aligned in one direction. It's the energetic equivalent of a laser beam, focused, steady, potent enough to cut through the noise of conflicting signals. Think about walking into a room where someone is genuinely joyful. You feel it before they speak. That's frequency transmission. The quantum field works the same way, except it's responding to you, not just sensing you. Every time you anchor into the frequency of gratitude, joy, love, or empowerment, authentically, not as a mask, you send out a coherent signal. And coherent signals are powerful attractors. Ancient traditions knew this, long before quantum science could measure it. Alchemists spoke of transmuting base metals into gold as a metaphor for elevating the inner state. Mystics across cultures have said that prayer is not about asking for something, but embodying the state of having already received it. In both cases, the principle is the same. The outer changes when the inner matches the vibration of the desired outcome. In modern language, we could say the field mirrors the energy you consistently broadcast. If you can hold the frequency of peace in the middle of chaos, you shift not only your internal state, but the probability field around you. You become the calm center that rearranges reality. Here's where this becomes a bridge between quantum physics and spiritual awakening. When you start tuning your frequency intentionally, you begin to see that your sense of self is not fixed. You are not your thoughts, not your past, not the conditions you were born into. You are an energetic being capable of choosing a new resonance at any moment. This is where the ego begins to loosen its grip. The ego thrives on the idea that you are separate from what you desire, that you must chase, strive, prove, or perfect yourself to earn it. But frequency work bypasses that game entirely. It doesn't require permission or a waiting period. The moment you embody the vibration of the reality you choose, you're broadcasting as if it's already yours. The field, which has no concept of future or past, begins to align the external world to match. You've felt this before in subtle ways. That day, you woke up already feeling light, and everything seemed to flow. The coffee tasted better. Strangers smiled at you. Opportunities seemed to fall into place. It wasn't luck, it was frequency alignment. The question is, are you ready to make that your default instead of an accident? Practicality matters here. To hold a chosen frequency, you don't need perfection. You need awareness, and choice. Notice the moments your energy drops. Catch the inner dialogue that doesn't match your chosen station. Then gently, without judgment, return to the frequency you've decided to embody. This is not about force. It's about repetition until your nervous system learns that this vibration is home. In time, you'll see that this is not mystical fantasy, but a living science. Quantum experiments like the double-slit test show that observation changes outcomes. Frequency is your observation amplified, not just what you see, but how you believe. Change that. You change the world you walk in. So, here is the simple truth you carry forward. The field is always listening. You are always broadcasting. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not measured in time. It's measured in vibration. And tuning is always available to you right now. Your conscious mind is the narrator of your life, but your subconscious is the architect quietly drafting the blueprints. Every belief, every identity, every truth you've carried without questioning lives there, layered and woven through your nervous system, dictating how you respond to the quantum field. This is the bridge, the hidden connection between your inner programming and the realities you keep walking into. The subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't debate whether something is good for you or harmful. It simply takes repeated impressions and installs them as reality. When you were told money is scarce, love is risky, or you have to work harder than everyone else to succeed, your subconscious didn't fact-check it. It just absorbed the vibration. Now those beliefs broadcast as your default frequency, often without your awareness. Imagine the subconscious as the tuning fork you didn't know you were carrying. If it's been set to a certain pitch since childhood, it will continue to hum at that vibration, attracting matching experiences. You can change the station on the surface all you want, but if your subconscious is still locked into the old channel, the signal remains mixed, and the quantum field mirrors back the static. The shift happens when you realize the subconscious is not your enemy. It's your most powerful ally once you learn to reprogram it. The bridge between the conscious desire and the subconscious pattern is emotion. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic. It responds to felt experience. That's why you can tell yourself, "I'm abundant," 1,000 times. But if your body is still flooded with the energy of lack, the old code stays active. To cross that bridge, you need to feed the subconscious new experiences that carry the frequency of the reality you choose. Visualization works not because you're tricking the mind, but because when done with sensory detail, it creates the same neural and energetic imprints as a real event. Gratitude works because it trains the body to feel the vibration of having here and now. Think of your subconscious like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, whether weeds of fear or flowers of possibility, it will grow without judgment. You've seen this in your own life, the self-fulfilling prophecies, the patterns that seem to repeat despite your conscious efforts. That's the soil doing its job. Change the seeds, the garden transforms. Quantum entanglement offers a striking metaphor for this. In physics, two particles that become entangled remain connected regardless of distance change. One and the other shifts instantly. Your subconscious mind is entangled with countless possible versions of your future self. As you shift the subconscious frequency, you change the resonance, and your entangled future begins to reorganize. This is not about digging endlessly into your past. It's about becoming aware of what's running and choosing to install new patterns that align with the life you want to inhabit. Instead of wrestling with the old code, you overwrite it through repetition, elevated emotion, and aligned action. You've likely had moments where the subconscious bridge activated instantly. Maybe you felt deep gratitude for no apparent reason, and within hours, something beautiful unfolded. Or perhaps you released an old resentment, suddenly the stagnation in your life eased. Those moments weren't random. They were your subconscious shifting frequency and the field responding without delay. So here is your invitation. Stop trying to manifest from the conscious mind alone. It's like sending a beautifully worded letter in a language the receiver doesn't understand. Speak in the language of the subconscious. Images, sensations, feelings. Let your conscious mind be the director, but let your subconscious be the actor who brings the role to life with full conviction. To work this bridge, you might begin each morning with a few minutes of immersive feeling, not just thinking about your desired reality, but breathing it in, tasting it, hearing it. You let your nervous system know this is safe, this is real, this is now. Slowly, the subconscious adjusts its pitch to match. When that happens, the quantum field doesn't just hear your request, it hears your readiness. And readiness is magnetic. Perception is not just the way you see the world. It is the alchemical vessel in which reality is transmuted. When you shift how you look at life, you shift the meaning, the energy, the frequency that radiates outward. And the quantum field responds to meaning as much as it responds to raw emotion. Your perception is a filter colored by your subconscious, shaped by your experiences, and tuned by your current frequency. If that filter is clouded by fear or limitation, the world will mirror those shapes back to you, not because that's the only reality available, but because that's the only one you're willing to perceive. Imagine you're wearing tinted glasses. If the lenses are gray, every scene feels dim even in sunlight. If the lenses are gold, the same street, the same people, the same sky suddenly appear luminous. Nothing outside has changed, yet the entire experience is transformed. This is the essence of perception. As alchemy, the outside bends to match the inner interpretation. In ancient alchemical practice, transformation began with calcination, the breaking down of what is no longer useful, the burning away of the false. In the realm of perception, this means questioning the stories you've been telling yourself about what's possible, about who you are, about what you deserve. The ego clings to these stories because they create a familiar identity, even if that identity is painful. But once you see they are not truth, only lenses, you can choose new ones. Here's the quantum tie-in. The observer effect in physics shows that the act of observation changes the outcome. Perception is observation through your unique lens. Change the lens. You change the collapse of the wave into matter. This is not poetic metaphor. It is the very nature of quantum reality. You are never a passive observer. You are a co-creator deciding what wave collapses and what remains potential. So if you've been perceiving life as hostile, you will naturally interact with it defensively, broadcasting that energy into the field. The field will dutifully return experiences that confirm your perception. If you begin perceiving life as an ally, as a responsive, intelligent partner, you interact with more openness. The field mirrors that back. The alchemy here lies in two steps: awareness and transmutation. Awareness means catching yourself in the middle of an old perception. This always happens to me. I can't trust anyone. Opportunities are rare, and realizing it's a lens, not a law. Transmutation means consciously shifting the lens to a higher frequency interpretation. This is redirecting me toward something better. Trust is built in the now. Opportunities are everywhere in potential. At first, your ego may resist. It will tell you you're being naive. It will try to drag you back into the safety of cynicism or skepticism. This is normal. The ego fears losing control when perception expands. But as you hold the new lens consistently, you'll begin to notice something remarkable. The external world actually begins to behave differently. You might find coincidences stacking up, the right book falling into your lap, a conversation overheard that solves a problem, a stranger offering exactly the connection you needed. These are not accidents. They are quantum responses to your altered observation. You've changed the variables by changing how you see, and reality must reconfigure accordingly. In this way, perception becomes your philosopher's stone, the instrument through which thought becomes form. You can turn leaden moments into golden ones by shifting their meaning. You can dissolve obstacles into stepping stones by choosing a higher vantage point. Here is where ego transcendence naturally unfolds. Once you see that perception shapes reality, you stop defending the old stories so fiercely. You realize they were never you. They were choices. You can choose differently at any time. The self you thought you were begins to loosen, making room for the essence underneath the pure awareness that can perceive from any point in the spectrum. That essence is your inner alchemist. It doesn't fight reality, it refines it. It doesn't fear the unknown, it shapes it through clarity of vision. When you learn to see from this essence without the fog of inherited limitations, you step into the most powerful manifestation state of all calm, coherent, and unattached. From here, the field feels your openness, your clarity, your readiness, and the probabilities you could never reach before suddenly stand at your doorstep, shimmering with possibility. Becoming the quantum creator is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you already are beneath the noise. At your core, you are not a passive receiver of reality. You are an emitter, a transmitter, a node in the quantum web that influences the entire field with every signal you send. When you embody the frequency of your desired reality, you dissolve the gap between wanting and being. Wanting is a signal of absence. Being is a signal of presence. The quantum field doesn't translate your desires into timelines, it mirrors your state. This is why so many manifestations feel stalled. People live in the energy of yearning instead of the energy of having. Picture yourself stepping into a version of your life where the thing you seek is already here. You walk differently. You breathe differently. Your choices tone and decisions shift. You're not acting as if in a forced way, you're inhabiting it so fully that your nervous system relaxes into it as the most natural thing in the world. That state is the true frequency lock. The outer world begins to arrange itself without your micromanagement. People arrive, situations pivot, paths you didn't see before light up under your feet, because you're not clinging to how the process feels almost effortless. This is the paradox. The less you strain, the more reality bends. This embodiment also changes your relationship with time. Instead of treating your vision like a distant event, you live it in your now. The future becomes a memory you're walking into, not a possibility you're chasing. Quantum mechanics tells us that time is not linear in the way we perceive. The field operates in a timeless now, responding to the signal you're broadcasting in this moment. To sustain this embodiment, you integrate the principles we've explored: awareness of your broadcast, frequency tuning, subconscious alignment, and perceptual alchemy. When all four converge, you're not trying to manifest, you're living as the manifestation. You are the evidence of the reality you desire. The field has no option but to keep sending you matching experiences. Here's the deeper truth. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. This is the culmination of every shift you've made. Wanting alone sends a signal of separation. Being sends a signal of unity. You stop chasing the reflection in the mirror and start shaping the face that the mirror reflects. Think of a musician tuning their instrument. If the strings are even slightly off, the song feels unstable no matter how passionately they play. But once tuned, even the simplest melody sounds beautiful, complete. Your frequency is the instrument. When it's tuned to the reality you've chosen, the field plays it back in perfect harmony. Creating your reality isn't about forcing outcomes, it's about tuning yourself to the frequency of what you desire. By making small, intentional shifts each day, You train your mind and body to naturally align with the life you want. Use this daily practice checklist to keep your energy, focus, emotions in harmony from morning to night. 1. Begin each morning with a few minutes of feeling your desired reality as if it's now. Breathe it into your body until it feels real. 2. Notice your broadcast throughout the day. Ask, what signal am I sending right now? When you feel your state drop, pause. Shift into gratitude or calm presence before acting. 4. End your day by recalling moments of alignment. Let your body memorize that frequency before sleep. So I invite you now, in the comments, write one word that captures the frequency you choose to carry forward. Maybe it's clarity. Maybe it's abundance. Maybe it's love. Let that word be your declaration, a seed you plant in the field today. If this journey has awakened something in you, subscribe not just to a channel, but to a movement of minds and hearts reshaping what's possible. You are not just a viewer. You are a participant in the unfolding of a new way of being. Keep tuning, keep aligning, keep playing in the field, because the thought I want to leave with you is this: reality is not happening to you. It is happening through you. And the moment you choose, really choose who you are being, the universe has no choice but to meet you there